And sometimes it's like sudden transitions, you know? I think that usually means that, you know, the scene is gonna get a little bit surreal or something like that. Because we're in pajamas again. I don't know why. Ugh. Honestly, the hell of this place. What sort of guy wants to spend their last day of summer vacation in a stinking library anyway? Oh, his glasses are back. Oh, right. I guess it can't be helped. Let's get this over with. Hey there, number 2. Ready to get started? Emil doesn't respond. Only after I try reaching out to him again that I finally notice it. His hands are shaking. Emil? He forces himself out from behind his book and looks up at me. Yes. Yes, I'm ready. But we shouldn't do this here. Libraries aren't fit for the kind of discussion we're about to have. Even if nobody here were to mind, we should do this somewhere that's free of wandering eyes. Wouldn't you agree? Emil stays his shaking hands and shifts his demeanor to something far more assertive. I recognize his look. It's no different from how he used to look right before the 6 of us would go on one of our raids in the underworld. To get, you know, epic loot. He's trying to psych himself up, which can only mean one thing. You sure you want to do this, amigo? Somebody has to. We've all been far too passive as of late, and that goes double for myself. So it falls upon me to be the proactive one, then I welcome the challenge. Emil tosses his copy of The Stranger onto the table and walks toward the exit. Let's go, Oliver. I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere. In our pajamas. I guess. No, it's like kind of like a, like, what do you call it? A bathrobe? Sleeping robe? I don't know, anyway. Emil settles on one of our old classrooms. It went off a long way just to talk about French existentialism, Emil. You mind telling me what this is really about? Emil smirks, taking a sheet of orange construction paper out of his shirt pocket. I'll give you one guess as to what is written on this. Only one? I'm certain one is all you'll need. Is it a number? If so, I'm going to go with 17. 17 is a good number. Emil remains unmoved. If it was indeed your will to see that number written down, then I have no doubt in my mind as to what it would be. He slides the paper over to me. True to his word, the contents of the note are no real surprise. We may not have always seen eye to eye, but Andy was still my friend. She quite literally helped me become more than the sum of my parts. She challenged me. I appreciate her for that. I owe her for that. Even if I can't make sense of why they left us, doesn't mean I'm not going to try. So tell me, Oliver, why are they following your lead all of a sudden? Now that Violet can't go with you, what reason even is there for you to leave? Why are you going to college, Oliver? If you can provide a compelling enough defense for your actions, then I will concede this challenge to you. But if you cannot substantiate your decisions in any meaningful way, then you have no choice but to admit that what you're doing is illogical. So that's why we're here. He's getting right to the point then, isn't he? Making the first move like this, he's not acting like himself. He's acting the way Ashton and Andy would during a fight. He's emulating them. I hand the note back to my friend. I'm impressed, Emil. You're normally not this aggressive. Well, it's like they say, to win you must attack. So I'm your enemy then. Oh, the misery. No, you're my friend, Oliver. And like any friend worth their salt, I'm going to do whatever it takes to stop you from doing something stupid. If you're not going to bother fighting for your soul, then I'll fight on your behalf. He's really serious about this then. Sure, he's not forcing me to participate in this or anything. Hell, if I wanted to, I could just get up and leave. Even if Emil is my friend, I don't owe him any sort of justification for my lifestyle choices. But the direct way he's challenging my choices like this, I'm not gonna lie, it's oddly refreshing. Alright then. Hopefully I can give you something worth thinking about. Please do. I love nothing more than to be wrong here. Though, in all honesty, I doubt that I am. Oh man, I am loving the dangerous amount of confidence displayed today. So you're that sure you're gonna win then, number 2? I have to. Second place won't be good enough for me. At least not today. Gonna have to be. If you say so, Captain. Now tell me, why are you going to college? Be honest. Yeah, it's a mental battle. Say it again. It'd be funny if I press the save game option and they're like, no, you can't save, you're not allowed. It's time to fight. I'll be honest, like when I went to university, it was like, I don't know why. I didn't know why either. I just had like an undecided major for the first year. I don't know. So like I just went because my guidance counselor told me to. Which was, I kind of regret it, you know? It just gave me like a big student loan and like a major I didn't really have, I don't really use for anything. I guess I'll just pick this one. Because I feel like if I pick this one, he's gonna be like, you're stupid. You're an idiot. Why would you go then? I'll pick this one. I'm mostly curious, I guess. College has been hyped up as a really big thing for most of my life. I don't see what it's like. Really. I'm fairly certain you have an accurate idea how it's going to be already. The whole appeal of college is that it's basically high school but with less supervision. You're being reductive. Hardly. It's not like college isn't something millions of other people have already experienced. So how much is there left for us to actually be curious about? Maybe the food tastes different? Or maybe the classes are more challenging or something. I mean, yeah. It's usually higher education, so... Perhaps, but so what? Once that honeymoon period is over and your base assumptions are proven correct, you can't just leave. I mean, you can. Freshman dropout rates are more than enough to prove that. But do you really want to set yourself up for that kind of failure? That's not going to happen to me, Emil. I'm not going to drop out. Of course you won't. Because unlike those kids, naive curiosity isn't your reason for wanting to go to college. I'd wager that you have a more sentimental reason. One that will keep you there for as long as you need to be. So why don't we stop talking in circles and actually get to the heart of the matter, Oliver? Well, this seems like the most likely option, I feel like. I feel like Oliver would pick this one. He wants to leave Florida, right? That's kind of what he wants, so I'll pick that one. Well, can't really think of a better way for me to leave the state. If I go to college, I'll have a place to sleep, eat, and something big to work towards as well. And all for an absurdly large price tag. But what else am I supposed to do? You could have done plenty. How much of senior year did you spend wooing Violet when you could have been looking for apartments or jobs instead? If all you care about was leaving Florida, then you could have laid the groundwork for that a long time ago. But rather than thinking ahead, you let someone else think for you. Now you're trapped, but you don't have to be. I'm sure that in a year's time, you can work up the funds to pursue something out of state that won't leave you in debt for the rest of your life. You don't have to do this. There's still time to lift yourself out of the cannon before it fires you into God knows what. You're not hearing me, Emil. I want to go to college. But why? Surely it can't be just to leave home. People do that all the time without making huge four-year-long commitments. So there has to be some other reason. Freaking rock music. Well, I wanna continue my education. Oh, isn't it a good enough reason I simply want to continue my education? Surely you of all people can see the value in that. Of course. I never knew you were such an avid scholar, though. Tell me, what sort of things do you want to study once you get to Asheville? Where do your passions lie? Outdoor leadership, chemistry, creative writing. Well, he has been writing poems, you know. Chemistry, I don't know. I know that was Miss Lawrence's, passion, but creative writing. Creative writing. That's kind of a broad term. Well, I want to get better at writing poetry, I guess. Something I personally found pretty useful, and they have an amazing creative program up in Nashville. I see. Would you be able to commit yourself to something that nebulous, though? After all, you weren't able to finish that book we were collaborating on, even after I laid down all the groundwork for you. And besides, it's not like a degree in creative writing is particularly valuable. I know for a fact most novelists end up failing to provide for themselves in the long run, and end up working dead-end jobs as a result. I can't even imagine how much worse it would be for a poet. It's not like it's all about money, Emil. Oh, money isn't a factor? Let's follow that trail of breadcrumbs for a bit. What could be your reason for studying something so insular? I want to live in Nashville. I want to find myself there. That's a common reason, but it's an ambiguous reason. Live in Nashville. I don't know if that's what he wants. I don't know if that's what Oliver wants necessarily. He's probably gonna answer like, "Well, do you really want to live in Nashville? Okay, why do you want to live in Nashville then? What's so special about it?" It's probably what he's gonna say. Whatever. I'll keep it vague. I will say I want to find myself there. There's still a lot about myself I don't know, and there was never enough breathing room in high school to fully explore who I am. College seems a lot more hands off in terms of what I can study and what I'm allowed to do, so why not make the most of that? Oh yes, a classic argument, the whole "I need college to find myself" shtick. You know what's even more hands off than college, Oliver? Actually living on your own as an adult. You don't need some hand-fisted structure that can only drip feed the things you're actually passionate about. Have some self-respect. If you really want to study something, then seek it out and get your hands dirty. Go to the library. If you don't have a genuine interest in those things, then you simply won't do them. The idea that you need something like college to find yourself is nothing short of propaganda. Emil's anti-school, I guess. He hates education. You don't find yourself when trapped in the maze of someone else's creation. You find yourself in the blank hours where nothing is expected of you. What you do in those moments, what you choose to pursue, and what you choose to value, that determines who you are. You don't need college for that. All you need is time. So why give your precious time away to some heartless institution when you can have almost all of it to yourself? Elaborate. I elaborate. Okay. Well, I already got a couple of scholarships. Well, a big chunk of my debt's already paid for, apparently. Got a bunch of scholarships and grants, so basically everything's covered but senior year. Seems like a waste not to go at this point. You've got that much of it paid for. How? You never struck me as a particularly fervent student. Wait a minute. I think I know the answer. Your parents and Miss Lawrence worked the illness, didn't they? That's the only explanation I can think of. Oh, fuck off with that shit, Emil. What? Touch a nerve, then? Look, man. All I know is that according to everyone else I've spoken to about this, my last year is the only chunk I have to take out loans for. And how much we end up paying for the last year of college? Well, it's usually a few thousand. It depends. I guess it might be different in America, though, It might be different in Canada as well. I know in Canada, at least, it's like a few thousand, each year, but it depends on the program, depends on the university, I guess. In America, though, I think it's even more. It's a lot, actually. I think in America it's like really high. But you can also go like a community college as well, I guess, which is like cheaper. I don't know. I just know in Europe, actually. In Europe, at least a lot of parts in Europe anyway, it's like paid for completely, like post-secondary education is just basically the same as high school. It's just you get paid, to go to university. That's crazy. But apparently it's free. But anyway. Because make no mistake, you will eventually have to pay that money back. It's not as free as it seems, I assure you. I think it's about 40,000? 40,000? Holy. Give or take a few. So, you're being roped into buying something you don't need just because it's on sale. Typical. Why are these places always so predatory? You know, Oliver, their entire department is dedicated to reallocating grants and scholarships to more deserving parties. Even if you didn't go, it's not like that money would just evaporate. And who knows? Backing out could make room for someone much more in need of a boost than you. Why are you so hell-bent on trying to talk me out of this? Because I might as well buy this thing because most of it's paid for. Is an extremely dangerous way to think. If you're this vulnerable to such predatory behavior, then as your friend, I'd be stupid not to be worried. But you're not getting it. I need to go to college, Emil. There's some things I need for my future that only college can provide. Such as... Okay, you can keep going. You know, you can just keep going. Well, I want to go to college and get a good job. Don't you think it's a good idea for me to at least get a bachelor's degree? They say college is a new high school if you want a job that actually gets you somewhere in life. So you really believe that? Well, Emil, statistically, yes, actually. Even though a lot of students are like overeducated and end up in dead-end jobs anyway, but you know, statistically speaking, you have a higher, potential if you at least get a bachelor's degree. Depends on the industry, though, I guess. Oliver, that's just something universities peddle in order to goad people like us into keeping their failing industry alive. Have you ever heard of trade school? You can learn to do something actually useful in a third of the time for a fraction of the price. There's apprenticeships too. Some places actually end up paying you while you're learning the skills you need to work for them. You're not going to be doomed working at a gas station if you don't get a degree. There are options. You simply haven't been told about them. You ever wonder why that is? No, not really. That's part of the problem. If you're anything like me, and I know you are, the idea of needing to go to college is something that's been planted into your head since the start of high school. But you need to question these things. Hold them off the ground, roots and all. Otherwise, you're only setting yourself up to be taken advantage of. You're nothing more than that place in a paycheck. You don't need them. You don't need anyone, really, but they need you. Not if I want to do something other than manual labor for the rest of my life, Emil. What sort of things would I even be learning at these trade schools? Plumbing? Welding? Landscaping? Most likely, but so what? It's not like there's anything wrong with good, honest work. You're no stranger to getting your hands dirty, after all. Or it could be that you're going into college simply to avoid having to work hard for as long as humanly possible. That's not it at all. Then what sort of competitive advantage does college offer? There's nothing. Everything. I've said everything. Here's what it's like. I already said these things. I said this already. I'll be up there. Same as it was here. Lectures, crowded cafeterias, and gross bathrooms. Yeah, but lectures are much bigger, I would say. I know in high school, you have small classes, but at least in the university I went, I imagine most universities, they tend to be divided into lectures and tutorials, right? So the tutorials are much more like the classrooms you're familiar with in high school, but a lecture is much, much bigger. A lot more students and less feedback, really. There's less of you can't really ask questions, really, and everything. You just have one professor do a lecture. But then you ask questions in the tutorial. But anyway, cafeterias though, I don't know, I never really, at least in the university I went, there's not one centralized cafeteria anymore. It's a bunch of places here and there on the campus. Depends on where you want to go. Anyway, gross bathrooms. But you're bigger than these simple flights of fancy. Let's move on. No! Crap. I'm starting to repeat myself. I need to focus on more what I've already said. I'm going to win this. I want to live in Asheville. Oh, Asheville's a really beautiful place. At least from what little Violet and I saw of it over spring break. And the campus itself is so cozy and rustic. The whole thing is perched on the lip of this little river valley a few miles away from the city. Even walking from building to building feels like you're moving between the pages of fairy tale. Seems like a pretty good place to spend the next 4 years of my life. Then why not simply move there? If you truly value aesthetics that greatly, then why not simply relocate or visit the area around the campus whenever you feel like? Is there a reason to even bother with pursuing a degree? I don't know. I wonder what happens if we lose. I don't know. I have no choice with it. Thing is that doesn't sound any more convincing than the last time, Oliver. At this point, are we simply repackaging the same arguments? No! Ow! I'm taking damage. Mental damage. Well, there's nothing else I can say, so I'll just say I don't know why. I guess we lose. That's it, isn't it? That's the only possible answer. Everything else, they're all just things I've been told by other people. There are things a normal person would say in this situation, the things I tell other people when they ask about my plans for the future. I do want to go to college, though, I really do. However, okay, you win, Emil. I know this probably makes me sound like an idiot, but I don't know the exact reason why I want to go to college. But it doesn't matter, because I know for certain that college is the place I want to be. And that's not something any of you can change. I try my best to be assertive with that last bit. Probably thinks I'm a fool for saying something so willfully ignorant, but with any luck, that'd be enough to discourage him from trying to start up another debate. A second or two of cold, cruel silence passes before Emil finally speaks. You're a good man, Oliver. It may have taken a bit, but you got there. I simply loathe having to play such an antagonistic role, but it was worth it to hear you finally say that. You're able to table your pride in the name of truth, even if it meant losing. That's a good sign. A really good sign, even. He's congratulating me. Why is he congratulating me like the end of, Neon Genesis Evangelion? Is this pity? It doesn't feel like pity. You knew the whole time, didn't you? You're testing me. Naturally. I've known you for a long while. It was clear that, outside of tagging along with Violet, you had no idea why you wanted to go to college. But if I simply told you this, it would have been easy enough to dismiss. The truth is meaningless if it's something that another person simply hands to you. But if you're made to say it out loud, you say it yourself. Only then does it have the chance to become the truth. So you're manipulating me. Kind of a dick move, Emil, not gonna lie. I'm sorry, Oliver, but it was the only option I had. The truth is that college is a fine choice for lots of people, and for all I know, it could do wonders for you. But you're not even aware why you still want to go there. Don't you think that's a bit of an issue? These insinuations are beginning to make my blood boil. I'm so sick of this crap. I'm so sick of being manipulated. Who cares, Emil? Why don't we talk about what's really going on here? If the truth is something you value so much, then why not say it? You want me to stay in Siren's call. That's it. This isn't about finding the truth or any of that nonsense. You're trying to manipulate me. It's not complicated. All I am is a commodity to you people. Something to be indulged in and consumed. You didn't have any friends before, and so now that all of them are moving on with their lives, you're starting to crack, aren't you? You're only being selfish. Admit it. Admit it, Emil. You feel so much better about yourself if you do, right? Right? I slammed the ball into Emil's court with as much force as I can possibly muster. I know he probably doesn't deserve this level of animosity, but I can't help myself. He took advantage of me just to make some stupid point. Now he's trying to use that to tie me down. But this isn't over yet. I can still fight back. I can still win. Emil sighs. It's sad. They've grown to think so little of me in such a short amount of time. But that's not gonna work on me, dude. I've seen how you fight. I know you're tougher than that. You're not gonna get any pity points from me, so stop wasting your time. You're being a bully. And you're being a manipulative prick. How am I supposed to trust anything you say at this point? Everything I've done only to help us reach the truth. I'm just trying to help you, Oliver. Put your needs first. Then prove it. Prove to me right now that what you've been saying is for my benefit. Prove to me that you're not just trying to keep me in this crappy little burg until I die. Prove it, Emil. Where's the evidence? Did you update the autopsy report? Look at the court record. You always have some sort of comeback, right? So where is it? Where is it, Emil? Emil reaches into his wallet and slams a thin, rectangular piece of paper onto the table. He then leaves the room without saying a word. I flip the paper over and begin reading it. Okay. Ah, shit. I don't know. And by the way, so it's been a while, but there's that also other like piece of paper that he handed to us before. You know how we made a joke about how like we pretended it was the number 17 or whatever, but I think that implies, because that's what Ashton did too. He gave a letter to everybody and said he left. I think that's what Andy did as well. I think that's what that was. But there was also another piece of paper that he gave. I don't know what that was either. I don't know. Anyway, after scouring the school for a few minutes, I'm able to locate Emil resting against the glossy door of locker 714. I throw myself on the floor next to him, doing my best not to fall backwards in the thin metallic gap behind me. Isn't it a pretty bad idea to leave something as valuable as a plane ticket of a bully like me? I can always print out another one at the library. It doesn't matter. Not really. So you're flying up to Maine, huh? Is this something you've been planning to do for a while, or? It's a recent development, if that's what you're asking, but not an unprecedented one. With 3 of us gone, the Midnight Guard is but a shell of its former self. I was planning on continuing my research regardless, but he motions to the scattered remains of locker 713. Right. Why Portland, though? Do you have family up north or something? No. I spent a weekend there with my youth group once, but that was it. Other than lodging, there's nothing waiting for me in Maine. Nothing at all. So you've been grilling me about going to college this whole time, but you're totally fine moving up to Portland on a whim? There's no whimsy in what I'm doing, Oliver. I need to leave this place. Here. We win easily and are comfortable. Comfortable enough to die. But I'm 18. I'm too young to retire. I need to be somewhere where I can feel my growing pains. You know, I want to retire. Anyway. I'm not that old either, but I want to retire already. You're making no sense right now. If living in Siren's car really is easy, then why would you shoot yourself in the foot by going somewhere else? You've never been one to turn away an easy win, amigo. Losing has its benefits. I've come to realize that losing may feel bad in the moment, but nothing mirrors death more than the comfort of being undefeated. Do you remember last year when we learned about Pierre Aternus? I remember it being on those flashcards you and Judith made. After that, I guess it just kind of slipped out of my head. Did it now? Regardless, it's an alarming concept. The basic idea is that if your life as a child never ends up dying, it would eventually consume you. Not so long ago, it was common for most cultures to have rituals that would result in the death of your childhood as a preventative measure. Your friends and family will bury you alive, or throw you in a cave, or leave you somewhere far away from home. I assume that college is supposed to be the modern equivalent of these rituals. But, as is often the case in this day and age, those youthful connections are never actually severed. Not really. And because the ritual college isn't meaningful, your brain never matures. You stay young and dependent forever because those who love you never fully let go. But we must let go. We must lose something. It's the only way we can become who we're meant to be. It's the only way. It's the only way that I know of. And so, I'm making my own rite of passage before reality catches up to me. Because it always does, Oliver. Always. I no longer wish to compare myself to you. I no longer wish to be in the service of sleep. I simply want to live. I want to live. Where did this all come from? This isn't right. If Amir really wanted to leave, then I would have known, right? I would have been involved somehow. I would have been needed. You're being stupid. What about Judith? Sure, most of us are leaving, but that only makes it so there's more room in her life for you, right? Emil laughs. And thus the final care has been dangling in front of me. I have no intentions of weighting Judith down with my desires, Oliver. Not anymore. I may be idealistic at times, but I'm no simpleton. I will present no overgrown child for her to nurture. Judith is free to live as she wishes, just as she's always been. After all, you're not the only one who can benefit from a clean start. And unlike you, it's pretty clear Judith knows what she wants out of all this. I feel like that's something that's worthy of our respect, don't you? So you're just gonna give up on her, is that it? Is that really your definition of respect? You just fly away, fly on out of our lives. I thought shit like that was selfish, Emil. It might be, to some degree. There's a hopeful selfish curiosity to it, much like how I was curious to see if you were responsible for Andy Nash's departure. But as it turns out, they didn't need you to leave. Them leaving has nothing to do with us. Nothing? Nothing at all. At least not from what I can gather. Them leaving was likely just another selfish act, completely independent of you, just like how it is for me. But even if that's true, I still forgive them. I forgive them for being selfish. Why should you? Because if there was ever a time in our lives to be that way, it's now. We're finally adults. We have to act. Otherwise, everything about the people we'll become is going to be decided for us. So yes, I may admire Judith, but I'm not going to die for her. Our social link is not that high. I'm not going to die for you either, Oliver. If that makes me a villain in your eyes, then so be it. But I don't think we're important enough to be villains, or even heroes for that matter. I think it was just people, and people only have complete control over themselves. I can't control what you or Judith think of me for leaving, but I can control how I feel about it. And that control will be the key to victory. My victory. Emil leans back on his heels and launches himself off the floor in one swift, vigorous motion. Can I have my ticket back by any chance? I prefer not to walk back to the library if I don't need to. Sure. Dumbfounded, I do as I'm told, and hand Emil back his ticket. He stuffs it in his shirt pocket and nods solemnly. I'd like to apologize, by the way. Not just for deceiving you earlier, but for how small a role we've played in all of this. I too felt helpless after everybody started leaving. I really did. I felt like I should have been able to do more to keep them around. I thought I was enough. I thought we were enough. But there's worse things than being small, and there's worse things than losing someone. I promise. Yeah, well, if you're really sorry, then be real with me. What other times have you lied, Emil? You were a research guy. You knew more about sirens than any of us. So tell me, did you ever lie about them? Did you ever lie about the underworld? If you're really leaving for good, then you shouldn't have any problems telling me that, right? Emil closes his eyes and lets out a long, heavy sigh. Alright, that's fair enough. No, I've never lied to you about the sirens or the underworld. Everything I've written on those creatures is a one-to-one representation of how they are meant to work. But you should ask yourself this. What does a siren look like? Huh? What are you talking about? What does a siren look like, Oliver? I want you to tell me. After that, you never have to speak to me again if you don't want to. But please, as your friend, in your own words, what does a siren look like? They live on rocks in the underworld. They attack us from there. They're strange. They're uncanny to behold. Right? Emil puts his hand on my shoulder. I see. So that's where we're at. Don't worry, Oliver. You shouldn't worry. You may be small, but you aren't powerless. You have all the skills you need to win your life back. You're not Marsault. You're not Raymond. You're not the people you read about. Emil moves past me and begins walking down the hall. And I may not want to be anything like you, but that doesn't mean I'm not rooting for you. I'm still rooting for you, remember that. And just like that, Emil leaves me behind in the hallway. He leaves. He didn't need my help. None of them did. I wasn't needed at all. Never was. He'll get plenty far too. They all will. Leave. They'll all be leaving soon enough. But then where does that leave me? Alright. Okay. I don't know, just a lot to take in. I'm also kind of like thinking about like what he meant by like what the sirens look like, you know? It seemed like Oliver misunderstood the question. I'm not sure. I don't know. Anyway, I'm so freaking tired after that. Passing by Vi's house on the way to the beach reminded me I could just sleep. I don't think anybody would begrudge me for sleeping at this point. It would come so easy, like gravity forcing cool water down a dry, cracked throat, like laying on my back, drifting out to sea. Still in our pajamas. But I'm running out of time. I can't sleep away my chances to do this right. Hey there, love pup, how goes it? Hold that thought, okay? I'm almost done here. Wait, really? You're almost done with the painting? Yes. Just give me a couple more minutes and then then I'm all yours. I really need to make sure I don't mess this up though. Alright? Got it. I sit down next to Violet in the sand and do my best not to be a distraction. The look of concentration on her face is absolutely commanding. It's as if nothing else in the world exists for her. There's only her goal and the will to see it through. I love her when she's like this. Normally, it feels like the whole world has the heat of its eyes turned to me, but Violet only looks at what she needs to. I could honestly do this forever, simply admiring her focus, scanning the way her hands move with such deliberation and purpose. But I'm not allowed, am I? She's in the endgame now. In the Marvel movies? There won't be much left for us after this. And after she's gone, after she's done doing what she needs to do. Okay. I'm calling it. I think we're done here. I don't think it's gonna get much better than this, unfortunately. But it's out of the brain and onto the canvas, so that's what matters. Go, and another rocket. As expected, the ground around us begins to lightly rumble. Without saying a word, Violet turns away from painting and looks at the sky. Her expression is heartrending, but restful, the face of a true artist. My numb fingers reach for her hand and slide down the shallow canals of her palm. I expect the skin to be warmer here, warm from use and purpose. But it's cold, like the bottom of the ocean, like a bed of wet sand. So I watch the rocket go. We watch until it's pushed from our vision. Humans sure are lucky, aren't they? Fish gotta live in the water, crabs have to live in the sand, but people can just go wherever they like. Well, sorta true, but not really true because, for example, you can't live in a volcano. Anyway, it doesn't matter if it's hard or dangerous or entirely pointless. If our species wants to go somewhere badly enough, then it's inevitable. Rockets prove that. Only human beings could be wistful enough to come up with such an insane concept. They're the ultimate symbols of our ambition and curiosity. You're lucky to be part of such a blessed group, Oliver. Even if things are tough right now, you're still very, very lucky. I'm lucky. Well, then so are you, V. I know you might never be able to go to the moon or whatever, but that doesn't make you any less human. Never, huh? You know, I've been hearing that word a lot these past couple of years. Never ride a bike, never drive, never forget your meds, never leave home without wearing your helmet. Never be alone, unless it's somewhere with soft floors. It's funny. Back in middle school, they used to tell us we could do anything with our lives, but then a couple dozen seizures happen out of nowhere, and suddenly your life becomes a veritable laundry list of never-evers. never going to space, never never wearing one of those cool glossy helmets. The school sends some paraprofessional into town with $20 and there's a helmet. The helmet does fuck all when your eyes roll over and the fragile above your body ends up drifting to oncoming traffic anyways. And so you paint because unlike sports or anything else worth doing, when you're 12 it's safe. Then one day you wake up and find that you spent the past 6 years painting all the places you'll never ever go. I'm sorry. Don't be. There's no one to blame. Sickness is just one more part of the universe for us to conquer. My only real sin was that I was born too early. One of the many countless vague anachronisms. I can't say that. Anachronisms? Anachronism, right? Anachronisms? Yeah. You're not like me, though. You have your own tempo that's unique to you. You can step back into the world again if you really want to. Because if all your remaining barriers are social, they're man-made. If they're made by humans, they can be destroyed by humans. And you're as human as they come, Oliver. That makes me happy. I'm happy you still have control over your body. I'm happy you're able to venture forth and see what's out there. Because there's so much out there, Oliver. There's so much. Violet lets go of my hand and checks the time on her phone. So, get on out there and use that luck. Use it for both of us. For both of us. Wait, does that mean... Stop it. Stop what? Stop talking like it's impossible for you to still come with me. This is it, isn't it? This might be my chance. This might be my last chance to keep her in my life. I know you weren't able to graduate, but does that really matter? You don't need to be dating. You're my friend, I'll protect you. Oliver. You can stay in my room while I'm in class. No one ever even know. There's lots you can get away with when no one's looking. That's why you never told anyone you were at the beach, right? You just walk on over here while we're still all asleep, even though it's dangerous. That's it, right? Yeah, it is. See? You're no stranger to being impulsive. You love the beach. You adore the beach. That's where you run to. So just run a little further, Violet. Run away with me. Please. Just do what you want. That's all that really matters when you die at any moment, right? I see. A vague, helpless feeling. That's all this ever was. That's your moon. That's what's been calling out to you. That's what's been bringing you here. What? Oliver, you know for a fact that I hate the beach. I always have. The nagging seagulls, the way the ground just clings to you. Our first conversation back in junior year was about how overrated this place was. I never willingly choose to plant myself here. No, that's not... I take a taxi to the beach every morning because even from 5 feet up, the sand is soft enough to cushion a fall. Me? Impulsive? Oh please. The beach is just one of the few places I can truly be alone without worrying about splitting my head open. Don't you see? What I want isn't all that matters, Oliver. And how could it be? I'm not breezy or rich enough to just live in the moment or whatever. I can't ignore it like I'm some sort of brainless fairy tale gremlin. That might be someone's reality, but it's not mine. And if I'm going to keep on living, I have to acknowledge what makes my head different from everyone else's, even if I despise it. That's why I'm here. That's what it really means to need something. A mundane, all-consuming dependency. Not some vapid impulse. It has nothing to do with what I want. And agreeing to be your roommate didn't have much to do with you either. It didn't. It's not that I didn't adore you. But living with someone who loves me, someone who obviously loves me, was the only thing that sold my family on college being safe. That's why we agreed to do it, right? Being with you was the only thing that made them think everything would be okay. But even then, I never needed you, Olive. Not really. But do you even want to be needed? Do you really want to be reduced to something as mundane as water, or food, or safety? Do you want the whole of your existence to be a begrudging necessary part of my own? Do you want to be the center of this universe? Because after having to sleep with my door open for 6 years, I can say with conviction, there's nothing I want more than my own space. And we're the same that way, Oliver. I know we are. Can't you see it? I don't want to run away from you. I don't need you to be my hero. There are no heroes in Siren's Call. There's only us. And I need us to live. Is that really so hard to understand? Can't keep her around. I can't do it. Come with me. Come with me to college. No. Please. I can't. Why not? Why is it like this? Why am I like this? Why does everyone always end up going away? It can't end like this. I did everything I could. It can't end like this. She's lying. She's lying. She's trying to get me to hate her so I'll be more okay with us breaking up. No, it's not just that. She's wrong. She has to be. There's nothing bad about needing someone. That's what couples do. That's what friends do. They need each other. Friends protect each other. Friends need each other. Friends need each other. Oliver? Friends protect each other. That's why they're important. That's how it goes. That's their job. That's how we survived. That's how we were able to survive all of this. That's how we're able to fight. That's how we're able to kill of course, the Sirens. The Sirens are the key to everything. If what Violet said is true, if independence is really what she wants, then she would have never wanted to depend on me. She wouldn't have followed me into the underground, not even once. Violet saved my life, and I saved hers, countless times. And I can prove it. What does a Siren look like, Violet? The Siren, the six of us fought with the backs to our walls, or with our backs to the wall, the Siren that's burned into your memory. What does it look like? That's right. Even if I can't describe one perfectly, a painting's worth 1,000 words. 1,000 words should be more than enough for me to win this. That's right, Emil. I could still win. I could still win. You know, we're winning. We have to win somehow. We're winning something. I grab the back of Violet's painting, flip it over. And see a completely blank canvas. The Sirens. They live on the rocks in the underworld and attack us from there. They're strange. They're uncanny to behold. Is that what you're going for, Oliver? If so, did I do a good job? She's right. He was right. There's no one to blame then. It was all just fiction. And this is how things really are. Chaotic, unfair, selfish. No, that can't be true. That can't be how this works. There's always a reason for this kind of stuff. There has to be. Even if there's no hero, there's always a villain, right? There's always a villain. That's how it should be. That's how it is. That's how it always is. That's how it needs to be. Huh? Okay, so I don't know what that is implying. There's a lot going on, but so like the Sirens, you know, what do they look like and da 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 da. And then we turn the canvas around, and it's blank, right? So is that what they was going for? Like the entire time it was just blank. So there's the Siren did not exist. I don't know. I don't know what's fiction, what's reality anymore. Where should the ceremony be? I mean, she hates the beach, right? So parking lot, sure. That's what Violet said, right? She didn't like the beach. So we shouldn't hold the ceremony there, right? I don't know. Alright, category 4 complete. Oh. Lot of conversations with all these characters. Like it's going back and forth. Like I don't know exactly what's going on, but like at first there was a lot of references to their adventure, right? Like killing the Sirens and how that kind of like made the townspeople like lose themselves, you know. But then there's a lot of this talk about college, you know. They make a big deal out of it, and like Emil is like moving to Maine or whatever. He's going to Maine. It's like I don't know what's going on. Is it like is it mundane or is it like more than that? I'm just not entirely sure. I always feel like there's a little bit more to this than what it seems. and then but then they still talk in such a way where it's kind of like, that's all they're doing, right? I don't know. And obviously, there's a lot of like in that conversation with Violet as well. Obviously a lot of again more like hints about her like illness, which so far is it's just seizures, right? That's what it all is. So I don't know if there's any more to it than that, but that's why she's been told to wear a helmet all the time, right? 'Cause if she has a seizure, right, she doesn't want to like cause brain damage and all that. Interesting, interesting perspective. But anyway, about her like being restricted. But yeah. 70% complete. I don't know. It's kind of arbitrary to be honest, the percentage meter, but we're getting there. We're getting close. I guess the only other person we need to talk to would be Judith. I don't know what's gonna happen to her. I don't know. We've been seeing glimpses of her like just freaking melting down. A whole bunch of times. I feel like she's the most volatile, really, even though she's the nice one, quote unquote. I don't know what's gonna happen to her, but anyway, I guess we'll see.